Hello and welcome to this briefing on the National Professional Qualifications. My name is Lisa Harrison. I'm giving this briefing today on behalf of the Spencer Teaching School Hub, and we're particularly focusing on the NPQ-EL. So the aim of this presentation today is to give you some more information on the NPQ-EL, but before we dive into the NPQ-EL, we're going to let you know where this qualification sits within a group of qualifications. I'll then give you a very brief overview of some of the NPQ reforms before making most of the briefing today around the NPQ-EL, including some of the content and how to apply for it. So the DfE has created this golden thread that runs through initial teacher training, early career framework and national professional qualifications. In all the qualifications it has the learn that, learn how to, and the same blocks build on each other with more depth throughout the different qualifications, with added blocks as we go further into the qualifications. So the MPQ reforms have been split into two distinct elements. There's the MPQs in specialist MPQs, and that's the MPQ in leading teaching, MPQ for behaviour, and the MPQ for leading teacher development. We've also got the MPQs, the reformed MPQs, which is the MPQ for senior leaders, MPQ for headship, and the MPQ that we're concentrating on now, which is the MPQ for executive leadership. So at the start of the briefing we talked about the learn that and learn how to, and you can see this in practice in here on the diagram that's shown on this table. This is taken from module 1 of MPQ-EL and it's around trust culture. As you start to look into this in more detail, hopefully there's some things in here that really excite you around this qualification, and we can pick a few of those out. So for example, the qualification looks at learning how to regularly communicate your strategic direction, or it learns that teachers are key role models and how you're going to put that within your strategy for improvement within your group of schools. So who should apply for the MPQ-EL? The MPQ-EL is for those that are already in a CEO or executive headship position or aspire to be set to. It's also might be really helpful qualification for those who are working in a trust position and just want more information around that broadened understanding of educational leadership. So why might you decide to undertake the MPQ-EL? First of all, the MPQ-EL is obviously a very strategic, demanding role, and it requires strong understanding of the educational communities in which you serve. It can be quite a lonely role, and there's still very limited MPQ-EL people around there, so it's quite useful for that depth of expertise required to be able to learn from your peers. In addition to this, the MPQ-EL has been designed in partnership with expert organisations, so there's lots of materials that are really high quality that we can. So for full details of the outline of the course design for the MPQ-EL, you can follow the link on the bottom there under the Assets Publishing Service from the DfE, and you can dive into that and see what all the units are in much more detail. Brief overview is that it's an 18-month duration course, as are all the leadership parts of the MPQs. This one has 87 hours of study though, because it includes 6 hours of one-to-one coaching, which I think is a really beneficial part. So for a little bit more detail on the outline of the course design, as all the MPQ leadership pathways, it has four blocks of learning, which you can see on here. The leading improvement, the culture, the conditions in the classroom, and the first block on leading improvement you can see is actually leading improvement, whereas culture develops on developing that culture across the trust. All the modules actually dive in to make sure that you've got expertise in the 3 layers of different influence that you'll require to work at MPQ-EL level, and those layers of influence are around school culture, the organisational conditions which bring the culture to life, and how those conditions can promote excellent teaching in every classroom. And those 3 layers of influence pervade all of those 4 blocks of learning. So within the programme design of the MPQ-EL, there's different ways of study, and it includes the one-to-one coaching, the online study, tailored content that's tailored very particularly to each delegate on the course, and that supportive scheduling. We know that you're really busy, so there's some flexibility around the scheduling for MPQ-EL in particular. So So within each of those 4 blocks of learning, there's 10 different parts of it, and they're put together in those 4 different parts. And you can, on the slide here, you'll see the titles of those different units. And again, I've put on the bottom of here the links so that you can have more details around them. You can see that some of the units on here appear through many of the other units. Some of them appear in the MPQ specialist qualifications, as well as other leadership qualifications, for example, Unit 2 in teaching. But MPQ EL, this will be at a more advanced level about how that culture for teaching and excellence is brought about across and sustained across the trust. So some MPQ EL nuggets that I think will really excite you and interest you if you're looking for looking at taking this course. First of all, the course is developed with the Sheffield Hallam University's Institute of Education and Evidence-Based Education. As we know, Sheffield Hallam University have got a really great reputation, a world-class reputation actually, in providing evidence around this, so it's excellent that it's paired with them. We know that you've got this complex strategic role, and the qualification is definitely written to be able to support that, and it also supports school leaders and the senior trust to implement a very evidence-informed approach to things like curriculum design, including the sequencing of the curriculum as well. So I'd like to talk to you about the scholarships that are available for MPQ EL. So they're available for those that are already working as or aspiring to be either an executive head or a CEO and have responsibility for leading several schools or are aspiring to have that responsibility. And as well as that, also to be able to gain a scholarship fully funded place, you need to be working within a school that's within the top 30 percentile. If you're working across a group of schools and you're not quite sure how that works with you, then please contact us at the Spencer Teaching School Hub, and we'll be able to help you with whether you'll be able to claim scholarship funding in place for this or not. There is an opportunity to pay for the course as well, and that's at a cost of £3,995 per delegate. So the next steps are registering on the DFE portal. There's a guide and a video guide of how to do that. During your registration process, it'll ask you who your lead provider is. Spencer Teaching School is working with Education Development Trust, so we'd ask that you select Education Development Trust when it asks you that question. This hopefully is a list of the useful links that we've talked about within the briefing on here. Probably most important is the email help at the bottom, so please don't hesitate to contact us should you require more information or there's just something that you'd like to check through. So the email help is on mpq@spencerteachingschoolhub.com. And on this here also you've got a link to the DFE portal, the DFE walkthrough video, an overview of the MPQs and a link to Education Development Trust. Finally, just like to say thank you very much for your time, for listening to this briefing. Please do let us know if there's more information that we can help you with, and we're really excited and looking forward to working with you in the future. Thank you.